Well, good evening. It's Brindley. And tonight I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about how I got into this new line of work. A lot of you have known me in my real estate world as the systems person. I still work with a lot of teams, business owners, company owners, realtors, brokers on their operations, their foundation. My largest client does probably around 3,500 units a year, and I work with the COO and the operations team. And then I still work with individual agents that we're building small but mighty teams. So I'm still doing a lot on the back end. But what I'm really excited about is this new modality that I'm bringing into my work. And it's systemic work, but it's a little bit different than what we're used to. And I fell into it when I was a platinum partner with Tony Robbins. So a lot of you know me in recovery, and you know a lot about my family systems because of my journey in recovery. And we know that addiction and alcoholism and all sorts of things ran very, very rampant in my mother's line. And then a lot of you know I don't know my father. And so I've been learning a lot more about my father line through this work and finding out a lot of the patterns and the preconditioning, even though I don't know him, that I carry through DNA, through generational things, all sorts of things. And I look at this as God has given us this amazing universe, which is physics. You can't deny that. And it's here to teach us things over and over and over. And it's just one big energetic field that gets to show us things over and over. And so I had done a lot of work in recovery, but yet I was still miserable. I had a team of 19 people at one point. I was working with people that I loved dearly, but I was miserable. I was burnt out. I didn't know how to lead. I didn't know how to treat people. All of these behaviors just weren't going away, no matter what I did. There were a lot of people out there that loved telling me all the things that I did wrong, yet I didn't understand why. And I didn't understand why I couldn't stop them. And that's when this work came into my life, and it shifted everything. And that's the work of systems and systemic law and family systems, mostly, also organizational systems, and how our family systems will impact our business systems. And so what is a system? A system is when anything is formed, two people, a group, and it's typically formed around something. So it's formed by blood, it's formed by history, it's formed by gathering. And every system has unspoken rules that the people inside that system follow. So you have the most important system, as I said, which is our family system. And we're born into family systems, and based on how the generations before acted, they had rules. And in order to be in this family system, you had to act a certain way. You had to only speak when spoken to. You had to do certain things to feel loved. You had to do certain things to feel safe. And so we learn the rules of the system and we absorb them, not even knowing that we are. And then as we grow into adults, those behaviors and those rules of that system will then carry over into other areas of our life. So a great example for beginners that I like to use is the responsible child. So let's say you grew up and you were the oldest sibling of 8 to 10 kids, and or even 4 to 5, and you became the responsible child. You became the third parent. You took care of the children. You helped your mother with diapers and feedings and all of those things. And so now that translates into your professional life, and you are now the responsible child inside your organization or inside your team. You're the people pleaser. You're the one that comes and takes care of everyone. And if a ball's going to be dropped, you're not going to let it be dropped because you're going to be in there to rescue or save them. And now you're playing that same role inside the business, inside the organization. So imagine if you have a team of 5 to 8 people that are all bringing their systems into the business system. Now we have a lot of displacement, a lot of entanglement, and those are all things that I'm going to teach you as we gather on Monday nights together. And so real quick, the way that I got into this, I was at the spiritual retreat with Platinum Partners with Tony Robbins a few years ago. I think it was 2020, end of 2023. And we were in Mexico, and there was about 400 people in the room, and Tony rolled this sweet, sweet woman named Michelle Bleckner. She's a French woman. and was in her 80s, and she was in a wheelchair, and she had this bright red lipstick on, and you would have never known her age because she could have run circles around all of us. And she came out on stage and she started explaining this modality called family constellations. Now, I'm talking to you about organizational constellations, but we also do work with family constellations. So we can not only find out where the systems are affecting the business, we can actually do work to help you reorder the family system so that the pattern disappears. And so she was explaining to me how family constellation works. And in the Mormon religion, they actually believe that we see our ancestors before we see God, because God is only one and our ancestors are many. And once they've been to see God, they can see the light. And so they actually want to help us. And so they continue to show us things that can help us work on these generational patterns that we've carried down. And she starts explaining all of this. And she says, it's like if you had an Uncle Jim who you never invited to holiday dinners because he was always drunk. And a friend of mine, Eugene, shout out to Eugene at Compass, he was sitting next to me, and I put my hand on his leg, my jaw dropped. She asks for a volunteer. All 400 people raised their hands, and she looked straight at me. By the time I got up on stage, I'm bawling, I'm hysterical, and she says, "What's going on?" And I said, "I had an Uncle Jim, and when I was a senior in high school, he was killed. And that's when I started my career and my drinking career, as we like to say." And she looked at me and she said, "When he died, you picked up his trauma." And she was right. I had worn that like a badge of honor for almost 20 years. I was the victim. It destroyed my life. It took away my first love. It took away my college careers. It took away my career. I mean, that event changed everything. And she scared me so bad that night that I ran out of the room. I didn't want to have anything to do with anyone. And little did I know that was just the beginning, that was God in the universe plotting to change my entire life. And the following year, the team started falling apart. I would love to say that it was by my choice, but it was by my behavior more than it was by my choice. And yeah, and so then we fast forward to last June. I get a phone call from my dear friend Sandra Harmon down in Puerto Rico. By the way, if you're interested in this work, I'm going to be doing a workshop in Puerto Rico on my birthday weekend, April 10th. So if you want more information, you can just drop something in the comments and I'll make sure I get it to you, say PR or something fun like all those influencers do. And she calls and she says, "Michelle's coming to do some work and I would like you to come since you know her." And so I hopped on a plane and I went to Puerto Rico, and for the next, I think it was 7 months, I was stuck to Michelle like white on rice. And she really, really opened my mother line, exposed me to the work, helped me see that I had been building something for almost 13 years for other people, and that I truly was lost. I had no purpose. She truly gave me a purpose back in life. And then I continued my work from there to work with Eric Lopez, and he's now opening up my entire father line. And I'm starting to find out things, guys, about my father's line that is going to blow your mind. And I know they're watching now. And so if you watch this, I just want you to know that I'm on your time and we're on God's time, and we'll do it together. If you want to know more about this work, reach out, guys. I might sound like a crazy person right now, but you guys already know that. And you also know that I don't give anything to you after I've practiced it myself. And so I have definitely been down a path and a transformation this time that is unlike anything before. So reach out if you want to chat about it or are interested in the work, or just go to my website, brindleytucker.com, and join me next Monday. I'm going to figure out one of these days how to get this on all the things, but for right now, it'll be here on Facebook, and I will see you guys next week.